I'm going to show you, this is again seconds later, this is another flight right here, just stalking in the path with the people. They're all stalking. CINTAS is stalking, this third party, all the traffic is surveillance, and the fake sun moves from the corner, Stater Brothers moves as I move. This demon is over here maintaining presence in the path. It doesn't matter what direction you're looking in, this is stalking. And it's at 6:55 a.m. where the entity has a flight to a destination at 6:55 a.m. And at 6:55 a.m. when you are taking off, you're not flying miles away, you are present stalking in the path, and that's Southwest Airlines that's not going to Denver. By engaging in cartwheels right here. This is what the entity is committing, as I just captured a 12-minute video. And the entity is just maintaining flight after flight after flight because they're using UPS and FedEx and Southwest airline planes. They're doing so with regard to the same elements of monitoring. And this is letting you know that Amazon Prime, UPS, and FedEx, like I've been documenting, are gang stalking. And it doesn't matter what airline, this is illustrative. There are no flights that are hovering over this venue when you're going to a destination. So the entity is essentially, by using the couriers, in other words, FedEx, UPS, you're stating, okay, well, we'll use those that don't have a particular destination to a state to engage in the exact same conduct that Alaska Airlines is engaging in, stalking, flying over this parking lot, that Delta Airlines is engaging in stalking, flying over the top of my head at the same address, while the entity is monitoring my evidence. This is an entity that's highly unintelligent. They are but that's a threat, that they're so unintelligent. They murder people and they don't think about anything because they don't have any consequences, because everybody's dead. Everybody is silent. People that are dead are silent. Okay, so you're looking at, I'm capturing highly unintelligent people because they're not humans. These are spirits. These are demons. And they're going to be held accountable in court. That's which they're not thinking about that, even though your vessel is going to be in federal prison. That's relevant to the entity using any airline. What FedEx is doing is going to prosecute every single airline. The fake sun's not over just Terminal 4 where Southwest Airline is. That fake sun remains over everyone everywhere. There is no airline that's going to be flying over here. Wherever UPS is taking it, they're stalking, they're targeting in this area. And it's also to a scientific degree. This isn't even the sun. I don't know what point of evidence that the entity is believing is going to be disregarded or ignored or superseded. But this is the entity that's engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct, and they just provided 12 minutes to put this is where the fake sun is at 12 o'clock in the afternoon when the cursed womb is stalking. She's parked here in the parking lot. The Ontario Fire, tracking my steps, stalking, obsessed with me, as Michael Gherkin is, and the entity has the fake sun, and this is exactly what they're doing, stalking in the path, just like they are using a smaller plane, stalking in the path under the fake sun that's right here in this parking lot as I'm documenting, during daylight savings time, during the 12 p.m. hour, where the sun would not be present at the same location 6 hours later. And you know that because when I'm in Fontana, California, then all of a sudden, how is it remaining here? But it's also over me in Fontana, over the Fontana Lewis Library. And when it's doing that, how is it ever in Pomona, California? You're not looking at this over the Pomona Regional Transit Center. This is not over the Fontana Lewis Library simultaneously. But then you have these idiots that represent multi-million-dollar companies. And these are unintelligent demons. They're not humans. They're not making business decisions. This is not what they're doing. Their unabashed psychotic disorders are coming out while I have exposed the truth, removing the illusion. Now you can see Satan very clearly. Satan is going by UPS, Southwest Airlines, United Airlines, Delta Airlines. This is the demon possessed. They are not prudent business makers, or excuse me, making prudent business decisions. They're engaged in monitoring. They're mentally ill, in fact. And that is including those that are going into the bathroom inside of Stater Brothers. That's direct evidence to prosecute. You're a sex offender, you're stalking, you're doing so as an employee, you're doing so as an airline, you're doing so as a population that goes into the grocery store. Homeless or coming from a place where you live like the cursed womb to engage in stalking me under a fake sun, using all of the airlines, including FedEx, UPS, Amazon Prime, Southwest Airlines, Alaska Airlines, that's going to Honolulu, was stalking over this parking lot. This is P.O.C. Alrighty? I just wanted to show you that, and this is what an entity is doing with regard to what is published online, as though that's a response. In the same manner, the demon-possessed that are stalking in the bathroom, you're coming from home, and then you're coming to this grocery store at 6 o'clock in the morning, right when it opens, when you're coming from home, and you're going to the bathroom as well, and the entity calls, oh, okay, no, we'll have homeless people in the bathroom when it opens. Oh, no, we'll have the employees that were here when it opens, because that makes it more realistic. There is no such thing as being a realistic state or third-party actor. It is the same criminal elements of monitoring. They're unintelligent. They're demons. They're unintelligent, but it's evidence of them monitoring everything. Vidco is a gang stalker. You already know that. 25383 Edward 2, I believe. And Vidco Foods is gang stalking. That driver has the communication device in their hand under the fake sun. But you don't have to describe all that. It's all surveillance. The fake sun is still here as I'm documenting 6 hours from now. All right, the P.O.C. And you're remembering on that day, the entity is gang stalking by the Ontario police, okay, who are stalking on this street, San Antonio. Everybody is prosecuted by this idiocy that I'm documenting. Their idiocy. But the demon-possessed are engaging in what is criminal conduct. They're murderers. This is how they acquire wealth. By poisoning and killing people. Psychologically torturing them in order to falsely depict their character. That's how they acquire wealth. They are very imprudent business decisions because this is your whole business. Is your business going to live or die? And they're all going to die. This is the pattern of conduct. You just handed it over to me. All of them maintaining these multi-million-dollar companies. Why are they stalking me using all of those resources? And you are stalking. Science is testifying against you. And your mental illness is at the forefront. You're unwell, very unwell. And you're looking at the same pattern. Psychopathic pacing, using the smaller planes. This is the same city of Ontario. Paul Leon is going to prison, folks. Mike Lorenz is going to prison. Those people are going to prison, all of them. And they know it. And so you have the fat, cursed womb stalking me with Kia, who she's not skinny either, gang stalking while they know they are already caught. This is the entity that's engaged in that. This is informing how much you need to be paying attention. This is terrorism, and this is an entity that in the face of the government, I suppose in front of the whole world, they're going to commit a sacrifice and no one's going to know. And you're just going to talk about how you were headed to Upland, California, to the Cable Airport or to the airport that's, headed toward what is some other sort of venue, and in the specific environment, it makes no sense. The entity is engaging in what is a very clear POC. It's so clear, the fact that it's supernatural is what's providing clarity. So in the same way that you're struggling to at first acquire understanding regarding the POC, it's supernatural. That same feature that is supernatural is providing clarity about what you're doing, targeting, under all circumstances, targeting. All right? This is the entity that's engaged in that, and they're demons. Demons that are operating these vehicles, stalking with light. COMET Electric in Pomona, California. All right, gang stalk and light activity. While the entity is stalking me on the roads and the highways. And COMET Electric is a sex offender molesting. License 44537 Robert 3. The exact same thing that the Ontario Fire Department did under what is a fake sun 6 hours from now. Targeting. COMET Electric that hires any immigrants, they're being deported. And COMET Electric will be liable for facilitating terrorism, funding terrorism. While gang stalkers that are potentially even immigrants are engaged in the pattern of conduct. Doing so with all these companies, because these represent companies. This is civil and criminal at the same time. I'm going to prosecute. This is POC. This is the entity that's obsessed with my vagina. I document it, and they give me everything that I'm already taking in the courtroom. Okay, so this is the pattern of conduct. I just want you to see that. And this is the entity that's so inept. Like I had to show you a video of the plane schedule. I didn't have to. So now they're using the smaller planes. Like you forgot about that in the video. Like the bigger picture isn't already aware. This is an entity that's that inept. They're going to prison. They're going to federal prison, okay? Because this is about what I showed you here. You already know that when UPS and FedEx and Southwest Airlines are flying over, they are the ones that are thinking about the right now, here and now. And right now, you're stalking. 6 hours from now, they know that you're stalking. It's on the record, and nobody forgot about that either. The entity's not thinking about the big picture. They're thinking about right now, like my vagina right now, even though you're going to prison for it tomorrow. This is the POC. Alrighty, that's the entity that's gang stalking, and everybody else is being federally prosecuted. And beyond a reasonable doubt, they're already prosecuted. 9 Nancy, Robert Paul 054, pacing. 6 Bob, 0 Kelly 713, pacing. Maintaining aerial surveillance and surveillance on the roads and the highways where the people of the state are murderers, equally mentally ill. They have the same demon-possessed condition, same criminal surveillance system. They're not having car accidents, they're monitoring. They engage in attacking each other. And then they maintain a whole insurance system. The insurance industry is funding that. License 9 Victor Jerry Nancy 480. They're stalking on the roads and the highways. The sun is not still going to be over this street. Hold on, let me show you this. The sun's not still going to be over this street like I'm documenting where the Ontario police are stalking. Okay, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The fake sun is still here. And they're engaged in surveillance. Just like it's very clear when they're stalking by helicopter last night, while I'm uploading onto X, it's very clear they're going to prison. C. Torres is going to prison. Mike Lorenz is going to prison. Okay, Jay Hernandez, that's engaged in criminal summoning. That's what it is. The context is given when you're on the opposite side of this street. You're engaged in what is pulling over these stalkers using police lights. That's what COMET Electric is doing, stalking with light. That's a demon. At 4 o'clock in the evening, and this fake son is still on this street right here at Superior Grocer, he's going to prison. This is P.O.C. while the entity is flying plane after plane. The city of Ontario is stalking. That's the perspective that they're not maintaining, while the psychopaths are plane after plane after plane. They're pacing. Vehicle after vehicle after vehicle. They're pacing. They're stalkers. With light that's not even sunlight. In the same way in the bathroom, it's not the noise that's coming from flushing the toilet. While a bunch of zombies, he's a zombie. He's a vagina monitoring zombie. Okay? With deep, serious psychological issues. And also spiritual ones. Mental illnesses of a spirit. And this spirit is engaged in criminal surveillance, in furtherance of murder. And it's also the government. So you are going to literally drain the government, prosecute them, and remove them from position. All right, that's P.O.C. It is currently, this is another video. I just wanted to capture that. This is an entity that's very inept. Okay, so I'm pointing out points to you, but this is something that this is automatic. No federal court, and this investigation is not forgetful of anything. These demons are literally, they're far too ignorant, very, very dumb to be engaging in this. You're handing over multi-million, not only money, but literally the company. It doesn't even, you're not even going to exist. It's a threat to the public. All of these airlines, they're a threat to the public. They are a threat. And under martial law, you're talking about ceasing their ability to operate under any circumstances because they are a threat to the public. And this is the evidence that's showing that. Okay, it's a risk to your life getting on board any of these planes, just like UPS is just crashing into people and killing them. While they're gang stalking me. The fact that you're using that money and all that time, and the more that I document, the more you engage, they're psychotic. Psychotic. All right, Southwest Airlines, the entity is gang stalking me at the Ontario Town Square. Okay, well, the first flights today started at 6:30, according to the website. They were stalking me during the 5 a.m. hour. That's what my documentation shows. And then they follow to the Ontario Village Shopping Center where I'm at now, where the fake sun rises. And my documentation shows it sets right here at the same location. In fact, I'm standing at this exact location at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, like I stated, where even the same actors are gang stalking. And they think if you change an airline company, that's changing the analysis. That's what's out here engaging in what is murder. Very unintelligent. This is P.O.C. Now they're across the street. Remember, while I'm at the entrance, this is where they're hovering. Okay? Kia is stalking. The customers are stalking. They're stalking with light. They're mentally ill. And they are stalking using commercial airline planes. Okay? That's speaking to targeting by UPS, by FedEx that you just saw on video, by Southwest Airlines. As you're looking at the ongoing presence, as I move, they're not flying on this side like they were, plane after plane, remaining on this side. And that is the entity that is gang stalking. That's United Airlines. That's United Airlines. Okay, that is, again, you're talking about what HOLT Boulevard is? At the 10 freeway, at the tail end of what is Vineyard. It is currently, by the way, 7:09 a.m. This is the entity that's maintaining, 7:09 a.m. going to Chicago O'Hare, Portland. Oh, that's Alaska Airlines. Delta Airlines. That's not Delta that just flew over, but Seattle, Atlanta, these are the destinations. And there is no flight where you're taking off from these terminals, Terminal 2, Terminal 4, where you're hovering over HOLT Boulevard, okay? And as you saw Southwest Airlines, don't forget, this is what I'm saying, they're very intelligent. You saw Southwest Airlines flew over and immediately followed with UPS and FedEx, is what it was. And they're just veering off over here and they're maintaining flights. The entity is engaging in what is stalking and engaging with the same airlines, cartwheels, and what matter. You're talking about the totality of the facts, that they're under all circumstances doing it under the fake sun. They're doing it when I get on this bus and this fake sun is moving with the bus. I'm standing here. I'm showing you the exact opposite. That's the same bus driver yesterday. And the fake sun is moving behind the bus on video. She's molesting me with light on the bus on the inside. And then I show you at the Pomona Transit Center on the outside. That's where Delta Airlines, United Airlines are stalking. There's no takeoff. The takeoffs from the airport are not hovering over Emporia Place and over American Stereo Master and over the parking lot of Stater Brothers and on the opposite side of the street. Delta Airlines is engaged in stalking, and so is every other company, all right? This is P.O.C. This is going on the podcast. These are lengthy videos. I'm going to include them on the podcast as well. This is the extensive documentation regarding real-time stalking as an airport. This is government action. This is the type of conduct that American citizens are subject to without that in-depth understanding, but they are nonetheless subject to what is psychopathic means of hunting them down, stalking them, pursuing them, psychologically tormenting them. And they do that but while they are planning to and fully engaging, and this is what they are doing. They're murdering people. Delta Airlines is a murderer. Delta Airlines is a sex offender. All right? Delta Airlines, they're talking about what is mentally ill conduct. Who's flying this plane while they're doing the same thing over here on this side of the street? There's no airport that they're taking off from over here. This is the entity that's hovering in Montclair while I'm on the sidewalk. Okay? This is the entity that is in dearly disturbed. This is what's crashing into mountains and the bodies of water, claiming that they can't find the black box and don't know what happened. They're acts of terrorism. They're gang stalkers. They're demons. All right, and that's the same for companies such as COMET Electric. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 7:11 a.m. and this is also the entity OMNITRANS is stalking, and I already have that employee's number as well. That's light activity. While I'm here, and the entity is maintaining what is flight, Alaska Airlines. They're doing so while the entity has this fake sun in the same position at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's also prosecuting Alaska Airlines for targeting, state targeting. And they're doing so with the police that are Alaska Airlines is targeting in order to commit kidnapping, in order to commit murder. And it is a threat to the public. And this is what is going to be the grounds of removing these companies altogether after they are severely drained, suffocated of their finances, whereby they've been engaged in profiting off of murdering people, targeting them. Okay? And they do this while they fly in and out of the United States and while they cross state lines. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:12 a.m.